Have you ever wondered why some people thrive well into their 90s while others decline rapidly after 70? The difference often lies not in genetics, but in recognizable patterns that science has only recently uncovered. While we tend to attribute longevity to good genes, research reveals that genetics accounts for only about 25% of how long we live. The remaining 75% comes down to lifestyle factors and health markers that are completely within our control. What's most fascinating is that these predictors aren't always what you might expect. Traditional health metrics like cholesterol or blood pressure tell only part of the story. The true indicators of longevity are often hiding in plain sight, in how you move through your day, who you talk to, what's on your dinner plate, and even what happens while you sleep. By the end of this video, you'll be able to identify these 7 crucial warning signs in your own life, understand what they really mean for your longevity, and, most importantly, learn practical, science-backed steps to reverse them starting today. These 7 warning signs work as an interconnected system. Mobility, social connection, nutritional patterns, blood sugar fluctuations, sleep architecture, cognitive engagement, and chronic low-grade inflammation. What makes these indicators so powerful is their interrelationship. Each one influences the others, creating either a virtuous cycle of health or a downward spiral of decline. For example, poor mobility leads to less social interaction, which increases stress, disrupts sleep, raises inflammation, and ultimately affects every other marker. Modern longevity science has moved beyond simply counting years to understanding the biological mechanisms behind healthy aging. Researchers at institutions like the Stanford Center on Longevity and the National Institute on Aging have validated these 7 factors as critical predictors of not just lifespan but health span, the period of life spent in good health. Let's dive into our first set of warning signs that could be silently impacting your longevity potential right now. Can you stand up from a chair without using your hands? This seemingly simple action might be the single most revealing test of your longevity potential. A 2012 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that adults who couldn't perform this basic movement had a mortality risk 96% higher than those who could. This sit-to-stand test measures lower body strength, balance, and coordination, all critical components of functional independence. When researchers followed adults over 70 for a decade, they discovered this test predicted mortality more accurately than many complex medical assessments. Take Robert, age 73, who struggled to get out of his favorite armchair without pushing himself up. "I just thought it was normal aging," he explains. "Nobody told me it was a warning sign." After his doctor explained the significance, Robert began a simple daily routine focusing on 3 key movements: chair squats, step-ups, and balance practice. Within 6 weeks, I could stand up without using my hands. Within 3 months, I felt 10 years younger, Robert shares. My grandkids noticed the difference in how I moved and played with them before they even knew I was exercising. The science is clear. Maintaining lower body strength directly correlates with maintaining independence and extending life. The good news? Even if you're struggling with this movement now, targeted exercises can dramatically improve your ability in just weeks. Our second warning sign might surprise you. The most important thing I prescribe for longevity isn't a pill. It's people, says Dr. Robert Waldinger, director of Harvard's groundbreaking 80-year study on adult development. This research found that social isolation increases mortality risk by 29%. comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes daily. Consider the contrasting stories of Elizabeth and Margaret, both 75. Elizabeth lives alone and typically interacts with others only during weekly grocery shopping and doctor appointments. Margaret, however, participates in a twice-weekly walking group, volunteers at her local library, and has a standing Sunday dinner with her neighbor. After tracking their health for 5 years, researchers found that Margaret showed significantly lower levels of inflammatory markers, better cognitive function, and fewer health emergencies than Elizabeth, despite having similar medical profiles at the start of the study. The science explaining this difference is compelling. Meaningful social connections reduce stress hormones like cortisol, increase feel-good neurotransmitters like oxytocin, and even strengthen immune function. One study found that people with strong social ties have a 50% increased likelihood of survival compared to those with weaker connections. The 3x3 connection method offers a practical approach. Aim for 3 meaningful interactions, lasting at least 10 minutes, with 3 different people each week. These don't need to be deep conversations. Even brief, genuine exchanges activate the physiological benefits of connection. Your physical mobility and social connections work together as powerful predictors of not just how long you'll live, but how well you'll live. They create a foundation for independence, purpose, and resilience that directly impacts cellular health and longevity potential. While how you move and who you connect with are external factors, what's happening inside your body might be sending even stronger signals about your longevity. What you eat and how your body processes it forms the foundation of cellular health and longevity. Our third warning sign focuses on nutritional patterns that directly impact how we age. Studies from the blue zones, regions where people regularly live past 100, reveal that specific dietary choices can dramatically influence longevity outcomes after 70. A landmark 20-year study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that adults who followed a Mediterranean-style eating pattern experienced a 30% reduction in mortality risk. This wasn't about strict diets or calorie counting, but rather about consistent nutritional habits that support cellular repair and reduce oxidative stress. Consider the remarkable case of Joseph, who at 82 was taking 6 different medications for various chronic conditions. "My doctor told me I needed to prepare for declining health," Joseph recalls, "but my granddaughter, a nutritionist, suggested I try something different first." Joseph adopted what researchers call the color ratio method, ensuring 75% of his plate contained colorful plant foods representing at least 5 different colors each day. Within 6 months, Joseph's inflammatory markers dropped significantly, and his doctor was able to reduce 2 of his medications. "I'm not saying it was magic," Joseph explains, "but it sure felt that way to experience such changes at my age." The science behind Joseph's transformation centers on phytonutrients and antioxidants that directly combat the cellular damage associated with aging. The fourth warning sign, blood sugar fluctuations, may be even more critical than overall blood sugar levels. Emerging research from Johns Hopkins University in 2022 found that glucose variability throughout the day predicts mortality and cognitive decline more accurately than fasting glucose or even HbA1c measurements. Many adults over 70 fall into a dangerous pattern called glucose roller coaster. Dramatic spikes and crashes that damage blood vessels, accelerate cognitive decline, and promote cellular aging even without a diabetes diagnosis. Maria discovered this at 74 when her doctor suggested wearing a continuous glucose monitor for 2 weeks despite her normal fasting glucose readings. I was shocked to see massive spikes after certain meals and morning coffees, Maria explains. What was most surprising was how these spikes corresponded exactly with my afternoon fatigue and brain fog. Maria implemented what researchers call the glucose stability trio, pairing carbohydrates with protein and healthy fats, taking a 10-minute walk after meals, and sequencing food consumption. Vegetables first, protein second, starches last. These simple changes stabilized her glucose levels and dramatically improved her energy and mental clarity. It wasn't about eliminating foods I love, Maria says. It was about understanding how to eat them in a way that didn't send my body into chaos. Our fifth warning sign takes us into the bedroom, but not for the reasons you might think. Sleep quality, particularly the architecture of your sleep cycles, may be the most underappreciated predictor of longevity after 70. Research from the University of California shows that disrupted deep sleep correlates with shortened telomeres, the protective caps on our chromosomes that predict cellular aging and longevity. Sleep architecture refers to the distinct stages of sleep and their proportions throughout the night. After 70, many adults experience a dramatic reduction in deep sleep and REM sleep, the restorative stages when cellular repair, memory consolidation, and immune regulation occur. This disruption accelerates cognitive decline and increases mortality risk, independent of sleep duration. Bill, a retired professor, experienced this firsthand at 76. I was sleeping 8 hours every night but waking up exhausted, he shares. My doctor kept saying I was getting enough sleep. A sleep study revealed that Bill was getting less than 30 minutes of deep sleep per night, far below the recommended 90 minutes. Bill implemented what sleep scientists call the Sleep Architecture Restoration Protocol. This 5-part approach included timing exposure to natural light in the morning, establishing a temperature-dropping bedtime routine, eliminating alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime, practicing specific breathing techniques, and optimizing his bedroom environment. Within 3 weeks, my deep sleep increased to 70 minutes per night, Bill explains. My morning brain fog lifted, and my wife noticed I was less irritable throughout the day. The science is clear. Quality sleep doesn't just make you feel better. It literally rebuilds your body each night, removing toxic waste from your brain, repairing DNA damage, and regulating the hormones that control every aspect of health. While quality sleep rebuilds your body each night, how you challenge your mind and manage inflammation creates 2 more powerful predictors of longevity that we'll explore next. Your mind might be the most powerful predictor of how long and well you'll live after 70. Our 6th warning sign, cognitive engagement, goes far beyond simple brain games or crossword puzzles. The Rush Memory and Aging Project, which followed more than 1,000 seniors over 12 years, discovered that specific types of mental activities predicted longevity more accurately than education level or baseline cognitive abilities. What surprised researchers most was that it wasn't about maintaining existing skills, but rather about acquiring new ones. Learning novel information or skills creates entirely new neural pathways, activating what scientists call neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to reorganize and adapt even in your 80s and 90s. Eleanor's story illustrates this principle perfectly. At 84, she decided to learn Italian despite having no previous experience with the language. My friends thought I was crazy, she laughs. They said at my age I should focus on maintaining what I had, not learning something new. But brain scans taken before and after 6 months of language learning showed remarkable changes in Eleanor's neural connectivity and blood flow. The Italian itself was wonderful, Eleanor explains, but what amazed me was how everything else improved. 2. My memory for names, my ability to concentrate during conversations, even my balance when walking. Eleanor experienced what neuroscientists call the transfer effect, where challenging your brain in one domain improves function across multiple cognitive systems. The most effective approach is what researchers call the neuroplasticity triad, combining novelty, learning something completely new, challenge, pushing just beyond your comfort zone, and progressive difficulty, increasing complexity as you improve. This triad activates BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called fertilizer for the brain that promotes neural growth and resilience against cognitive decline. Our seventh warning sign might be the most insidious because it operates invisibly at the cellular level. Chronic low-grade inflammation, what scientists call inflammaging, dramatically accelerates biological aging after 70. The landmark. Chianti study revealed that inflammatory markers were more accurate predictors of functional decline and mortality than chronological age or existing medical conditions. Unlike acute inflammation that causes obvious pain and swelling, this chronic, low-level inflammation smolders silently, damaging tissues, accelerating cognitive decline, and promoting nearly every age-related disease. Most concerning is that standard medical tests often miss this type of inflammation entirely. James discovered this at 78 when specialized testing revealed elevated inflammatory markers despite his perfect annual checkup results. I felt tired all the time and had these minor aches and pains, but my doctor said that was normal aging, James recalls. A functional medicine doctor identified hidden inflammatory triggers including mild food sensitivities, disrupted gut microbiome, and environmental toxins accumulated over decades. James implemented what researchers call the anti-inflammatory lifestyle pyramid, prioritizing interventions based on scientific impact. The foundation included optimizing gut health through fermented foods and fiber diversity, eliminating his specific inflammatory triggers, in James's case, gluten and dairy, and incorporating natural anti-inflammatory compounds like omega-3 fatty acids, turmeric, and specific polyphenols. Within 2 months, I felt better than I had in 15 years, James shares. My joint pain decreased by 80%, my energy improved, and surprisingly, my memory sharpened considerably. The science explains why inflammatory cytokines directly impair mitochondrial function, your cell's energy generators, and accelerate telomere shortening, essentially speeding up your biological clock. Your brain health and cellular inflammation levels form the final pieces of the longevity puzzle. Now that we've revealed all 7 warning signs, let's put this knowledge together into an actionable plan. These 7 warning signs aren't a death sentence. They're an opportunity to add vibrant, active years to your life. Science has revealed the patterns, but you get to write the ending to your story. The most powerful approach is integrating all 7 factors into a systematic 30-day transformation blueprint. Start by assessing your personal risk profile using the simple self-assessment we've provided. This will help you identify which warning signs need immediate attention and which are already strengths you can build upon. Remember that these factors are interconnected. Improvements in one area often trigger positive changes in others. For your first week, focus on establishing baseline measurements for each warning sign. Can you stand from a chair without using your hands? How many meaningful social interactions do you have weekly? What's your typical nutritional pattern? Track your sleep quality, cognitive challenges, and note any potential signs of inflammation like joint stiffness or afternoon fatigue. Weeks 2 through 4 involve systematically addressing each warning sign with the specific protocols we've discussed. The key is consistent, small steps rather than overwhelming changes. Research shows that tiny, sustainable habits create more lasting results than dramatic short-term interventions. If you found this information valuable, please share it with someone you care about who's over 60. Subscribe for more science-based, healthy aging content. Remember, knowledge is power only when put into action. Which warning sign will you address first?